Hey Procraftinators, today I'm so excited to be part of the Save the Crafty YouTuber hop. We're a bunch of creators who have come together to help us reach our monetization goals. All you have to do is watch, like the video, consider subscribing, and click the link in my video description below to go on to the next stop in the video hop. Let yourself be inspired. Don't forget to comment because we have tons of prizes to give away. Please indicate whether you are located in the USA or international so that prizes can be awarded appropriately, as some prizes, not all, have restrictions on them. This stop in the hop is sponsored by Catherine Pooler, and she is giving away 2 Catherine Pooler ink pads, which is available to US residents only. Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, let's get on to the video. So I've stamped the foliage images from the Say It With Diamond stamp by Catherine Pooler, and I am taking a Zig 2-way glue pen and just kind of going through the insides of those leaves and applying the 2-way glue adhesive. Then I let it dry, and I am taking a piece of scrap foil, a piece of glimmer foil, holographic glimmer foil, and I am taking a bone folder and rubbing it on the adhesive, and it is sticking to the adhesive. So we are kind of we are foiling the little images, the leaf images, the inside leaf image. So there's a close-up there. And so I'm just adding a little, bling to it, if you will. Now I'm taking Distress ink and Seedless Preserves, and I'm going to go around the edges of these foliage pieces, if I can talk today. And we're just going to make them so they're not so stark white, because I will be putting these on an ink blended background, and I didn't want them sticking out like a sore thumb. And I'm going to do 2 of them in the Seedless Preserves, and I'm going to do 2 of them in Peacock Feathers. But I'm just going to show one each on camera because you don't need to see the repetitive nature of it. For these small little images, I'm just using a small blending brush. I have the Amazon brushes, but I believe Picket Fence Studios has the pack with the various sizes of brushes as well. So that works. I find that the big brushes, I just put too much ink all over the place when I just want to do the edges like this. So I'm just using a tiny brush. And there's the close-up of the one with the peacock feathers. And the foil does resist the ink, so you don't have to worry about coloring your foil. And then I took the images and I had cut them. I didn't mention this earlier. I did cut these out on my scan and cut. So when I did that, I just cut some plain ones as well without the stamping. And I stacked the 3 or 4 of them together up, and I'm putting them underneath the stamped images. So now we're going to do my ink blended background, and this is a I believe I did this on a 5.5 inch. Yes, 5.5 inch panel. I'm doing Peacock Feathers, Salty Ocean, and Seedless Preserves. When I do ink blended backgrounds, I like to work with 2 colors at once, and I do use separate brushes. I'm a little OCD about contaminating my colors, I guess you could say. I know you can just wipe them off, but instead of wiping them off in between, I just like to use different brushes, and I have a bunch of ink blending brushes, so it's not a big deal for me. So I do go back and forth between the 2 colors here, you can see. Now I'm going to go back and forth between, once I get the Seedless Preserves on there, I'm going to go back and forth between the Seedless Preserves and the Salty Ocean. And for some reason I had it in my head that my Seedless Preserves was dry. I'm thinking it was the Dusty Concord that I was thinking of. So I went really heavy with my Seedless Preserves. So then when I got done, I was like, well, crap, that's way more concentrated of the ink than I wanted. So then I had to go back through the Salty Ocean and the Peacock Feathers to make them darker so they match the concentration of the Seedless Preserves. So I ended up with a lot more saturated color than I had anticipated, but it's fine. It turned out great in the end. But I did have to go back over the colors a lot more than I had originally planned because I went way heavy. And you should start light, go heavier instead of going really heavy because you can't take the ink off once you put it down. But it's all right. So now I'm going in with some plain water in my sprayer, and dabbing on some, or splattering on some water. I got my dirty old tea towel here to sop it up. And then I took each of the 3 colors and smushed them on the white side of my mat, and I'm just taking a little bit of water and some paintbrush or on a paintbrush and splattering them each of the 3 colors on the panel. Again, I can't talk today, so this is going to be a fun voiceover. Anyways, so that just gives it a little bit more interest to having each of the 3 colors splattered on there. Now this is the back of my panel, and I want to find the middle of the panel. And again, a little OCD, I didn't trust myself eyeballing the middle of this panel. So I'm going to find the middle with my T-square ruler and mark it out. And then I've got a circle die from Spellbinders. It's a nestability set, and I'm taking, I don't remember if it was the smallest one or if it was the second to the smallest one. Either way, I picked one that fit my sentiment. I'm going to stamp a sentiment in the circle, but first I'm cutting it out. So then I wanted to find the center, make sure that I was in the center here, not just eyeballing it. And I'm going to cut this out with my die cutting machine. So we got it all in the center, gonna cut it out. So now you can see the center is cut out. And then I have a makeshift kind of wreath builder that I cut here. And I've had it for a while, but this is a 5.5 inch one that I made. And there is no wreath builder to my knowledge that is 5.5 inches that would fit my stamp platform especially, so it's just my own little makeshift one here. Otherwise I would buy one. But Gina K does have bigger wreath builders that you can buy that fit the Memory Misty, I believe, so I do highly suggest that you buy one if you want to, if you need a bigger wreath builder. But like I said, I don't have a Memory Misty, I don't have any of that, so I just kind of made my own. Alright, so then I again marked out the center, so I had everything aligned in the center as best I could. And I'm taking some more of the little images from the Say It With Diamonds set. And I'm going to stamp them around the circle that I cut out. I'm using Versamark here. I'm just going to stamp one on the bottom and the top for now. And then I'm going to use a purple embossing powder, I believe. Well, it's going to pop up on the screen because I cannot remember the name of it right now. Purple Haze embossing powder. Oh, I lie. It was just on the top that I used the Purple Haze, and then I used the Wow Oasis on the bottom. And the Oasis is it's a little transparent, so as you can see here, it turns out a little purple because the ink underneath was purple. And I did not realize that. This was a new to me embossing powder, so I should have swatched it out first or something because I did not realize it was going to turn out purple. It's not quite as purple in real life as it is on camera, but it is still a little purple. So now I'm going to do the sides. And I decided to use a combination of both embossing powders. So I sprinkled a little of the purple on, and I did get a little heavy-handed compared to what I really had pictured in my head. So I sprinkle a little bit of the purple on, and then I'm going to dump it off, and I'm going to take the Oasis and just sprinkle it over the rest of it. And again, this turned out more purple than I wanted it to because I got way too heavy-handed with the purple embossing powder. But as you can see in this picture close up, there you can see the Oasis on the edge there. And there's a comparing picture of the purple and the mixed one. Now I'm going to fill in the little gaps here with a smaller stamp from that same Say It With Diamonds set. And because my little makeshift wreath builder wasn't perfect, I didn't get to stamp all 8 of them in one go. I had to, or maybe it was because the Say It With Diamonds, the little swirly, I don't know what you want to call that image, wasn't exactly symmetrical. I'm not really sure what it was, but see, I couldn't line it up there, so I just had to do one side and then the other, which is fine, no biggie. But we're going to stamp out all 4 of these, and I don't show the the last 4 on camera. I cut that out because it's repetitive. We're going to stamp these out, and then I've got a silver embossing powder from a company that's no longer in business. It's called the Personal Stamp Exchange, and I'm going to emboss it in silver. Any silver embossing powder would obviously work here. But again, I'm not going to show the last 4 because it's repetitive. So then I put the circle back in, making sure that I lined up all the little splotch marks and whatnot. I got it perfectly aligned up. And we're going to stamp the sentiment, or a sentiment, from the Say It With Diamonds stamp set. And the sentiment is escaping me on what I picked now. But we'll see it here in a minute. And again, I did a combination of the Oasis and the Purple Haze, and this turned out super cool because I didn't go heavy-handed on either one of them. I started with the lighter one this time, but this turned out super cool, I think. Then we're gonna go with the Purple Haze, and you definitely don't want to heat set in between these. You want to pour the powder on, then dump the first one off, and then pour the powder on, and then heat set. Ah, well, hello there. That's what I picked. my short-term memory, guys, it's just really not that great. So there's a close-up of that heat embossing, and I thought that turned out really cool, especially with the ink blended background. It just turned out so pretty. So now I have a DIY shimmer spray that I use. It's made with Perfect Pearls and water, and I use this on probably 90% of my cards. It's so shimmery and so pretty. I love it. So we're gonna put the circle that I cut out on a black circle that's just one size bigger. It's from that same Spellbinder set. That's gonna make that pop, and then we're gonna put the panel on a 5 3/4 inch square, which is gonna make that pop. Just putting that all down with Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And then we're going to stamp the inside. Now I cut part of this off because I was a dork and didn't realize that I needed to shift my stamp platform over. I was in the zone. But I stamped the sentiment, "You're Never Alone," and that's from Gina K Designs. What is that from? Gina K Designs Sweet Friendship stamp set. And then the little swirly thing here again is from the Say It With Diamonds. And I did a 2-tone stamping with the Seedless Preserves and the Peacock Feathers Distress ink. And again, you know, Distress ink doesn't stamp perfectly, but it's the inside of my card. It doesn't need to be perfect. Then we're going to mount that on my Nina 110-pound card base. And we're going to pop the center circle up on foam tape. And I use an X-Fasten foam tape from Amazon. Oh, I lie. I forgot about the little foliage pieces. They've been gone so long. So I put those on first. And remember, they are dimensional because I stacked up the layers 3 or 4 times or so. We're going to put the purple ones on the peacock feathers and the peacock feathers on the Seedless Preserves, right? Yeah, Seedless Preserves. I keep thinking it's Dusty Concord. Again, that's short-term memory, guys. Now we're going to pop up that centerpiece with the foam tape. And I already put the foam tape on the back, so you guys didn't have to sit through that. And there's the final card. All shimmery and pretty. So I hope that you enjoyed the card today. Don't forget, the next stop in the hop is in my description box below. And make sure that you comment for your chance to win. I hope that you have a great day.